Antarctica is often described as empty, a silent white continent, a place of ice, wind, and some of the most testing conditions known on Earth. But it is absolutely not empty. Beneath the ice shelf, in the dark water under the floes, something moves with confidence. Something perfectly adapted to the cold. The leopard seal is one of Antarctica's apex predators, and in 2003, at Rothera Research Station, one encounter between a human diver and a wild animal ended in tragedy. But this is not a story about a monster, it's a story about wildness. Rothera Research Station sits on Adelaide Island off the Antarctic Peninsula and is operated by the British Antarctic Survey. For much of the year, it feels suspended between sea and sky, surrounded by ice, mountains, and a horizon that seems impossibly far away. In January 2003, Kirsty Brown was part of a scientific diving team studying the impact of icebergs gouging the seabed. She was 28 years old, a dedicated marine biologist, and she was experienced and careful. Antarctic diving is slow work. It's methodical and structured. The cold is constant. The danger does not always announce itself. The leopard seal is one of the largest seals in the Southern Ocean. They can exceed 3 meters in length and weigh over 500 kilograms. Even killer whales avoid them. They hunt penguins, fish, and other seals. Underwater, they are fast, flexible, and intelligent. They're also curious. Divers in Antarctica have described leopard seals approaching slowly, circling, investigating. Paul Nixon has documented this a lot. In most cases, these encounters end without incident. Attacks on humans are extraordinarily rare, but rarity does not mean impossibility. On the 22nd of July 2003, Kirsty Brown entered the water near the station for a routine dive. They followed all safety procedures. Shortly after, a leopard seal was seen in the area. Accounts suggest the seal grabbed her and pulled her underwater. It reportedly held her beneath the surface repeatedly, behaviour consistent with how leopard seals subdue their prey. It's also estimated Kirsty was held underwater at a depth of up to 70 metres for 6 minutes. But we also know the seal repeatedly submerged her and brought her back to the surface, and the incident took place over the course of almost 10 minutes. The pain and pressure that would subject the human body to is unimaginable. Despite immediate efforts by colleagues to rescue her, she drowned. The efforts to resuscitate her went on for over an hour. To this date, it remains the only recorded fatal leopard seal attack on a human. There was no frenzy, there was no evidence of a feeding event. It just seemed to be an apex predator responding to something in its environment. Perhaps curiosity, perhaps confusion, maybe instinct. We do not know. Antarctica feels removed from the rest of the world. There are no cities, no traffic, no visible predators pacing the shoreline like the polar bears of the Arctic. But the Southern Ocean is not passive. It is one of the most biologically productive and unforgiving marine systems on Earth. Leopard seals do not stalk researchers with intent. They behave as predators have evolved to behave. And in an environment where water temperatures hover near freezing, the survival margins are always thin. Even a brief loss of control can become fatal. All too often, humans mistake quiet for safety. We see ice and assume absence, but observation demands humility. The most dangerous animals are not always the loudest or even the most numerous. They're not even the most aggressive. Sometimes they are simply the most perfectly adapted. And when we enter the frontier environments where they reign, we always enter as guests. As a result of this incident, new predator watch systems were put into place. Kirsty Brown trained in geography and oceanography. She worked as a diver and research scientist in Greenland and Australia before she joined the British Antarctic Survey. BAS ecophysiologists described Kirsty as full of energy and enthusiasm and went on to say that they all wished the scientists were like Kirsty. The British Antarctic Survey's Life at the Edge Stresses and Thresholds programme, which Kirsty had nearly completed the first phase of, was completed in her honour. A memorial fund set up in her name by Royal Holloway University, where Kirsty studied, enabled 14 young scientists to receive grants between 2004 and 2016. Her death remains a profound tragedy, but her life was not defined by that moment. It was defined by her curiosity, by her research, and her pursuit of knowledge in a landscape few people ever see.